Hey guys, Marcel LeBlanc here. I'm here with Stephen, and we're here to talk about how to save money. So I met Stephen, I don't know, a couple weeks back, maybe a month ago, at Venn Center, a networking event, and I was encouraged by my good friend Dave Gallant, who said, you guys should connect. I think you guys would have a lot in common, and turns out we do. So how you been, man?
I'm doing great. I just get back from a trip to Toronto.
Yeah.
We were there for the Canadian Personal Finance Conference, where we meet other bloggers and influencers in the space, and hear some great presentations about
Nice.
money and other things related to personal finance.
Nice.
Yeah.
So to put things into context, Stephen and his wife both work on. They have two projects, I guess. So they are currently working and have been running HowToSaveMoney.ca, which is a website/blog aimed quite directly at personal finances and improving your personal finance through either savings or techniques or strategies, or just getting you info that you need to improve and sharpen your finance skills. I can't believe I just stumbled on this site. It's been I've signed up recently. I love it. And you're also involved with Credit Card Genius. Is that the
Credit Card Genius is our new web application or tool for comparing credit cards, all Canadian credit cards.
Right. So basically, do you select the ones that you're interested in, or they're literally just all there stacked up?
No, it's really what it is we're the first tool to compare more than 50 features of each individual credit card.
Okay.
And we combine all those 50 features into a score that gets personalized by your preferences.
So I tell you what I want out of a card.
What
I
you're
want
interested
cash back,
in.
I want travel.
Low interest, you're more interested in maximizing your rewards, or you want no fees, that kind of thing. We have a slider system. You just do a quick few slides, then you do what we call a Genius search, and then you get every credit card in Canada rank for you by score from 5 to 0 based on both your preferences and how good the credit card is overall.
Awesome. Yeah. I've checked it out. It's pretty cool, easy to use, but I wanted to hear it from you because I've only checked it out kind of briefly, but great tool. I mean, definitely there's a need for that in the market, so that's cool. So listen, Stephen, a little bit of backdrop. He born and raised, he's an East Coast guy. He's a money nerd, super detailed by nature, and he's a techie by trade. So you have a background in technology, I think, right?
Yeah, computer science degree. I was a programmer and then a web application developer before I started doing this full time.
So being on the web is kind of a secondary nature for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in 2007, while he was working at a local tech company, he registered HowToSaveMoney.ca. Now, it wasn't until 3 years later, in 2010, that he actually wrote his first blog post, and which, and the rest is history. So How to Save Money brings actually a lot of valuable money-saving techniques to people who don't have the time to actually go read through 50 pages of forums and blogs and whatever. So it's a really neat place to go and find, pretty detailed blog posts about particular aspects of improving your finances, and I really enjoyed the blogs that I've read so far. So it's a highly valuable newsletter, and I'm happy to have Stephen with me today. We're gonna run through a few personal questions, a few professional questions, meaning questions that can actually help you with your money right now or down the road. So let's get right into it. So Stephen, where does your interest in money come from?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I told you when we met earlier, but my father is actually a financial advisor.
Right, you mentioned that.
Yeah, so, I guess I have a little bit of inborn interest from that. We didn't actually spend a lot of time talking about money growing up. He just sort of, I guess, led by example more than anything.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But one thing that he definitely taught me was sound credit card management, because I had a credit card when I was 16, I think, tied to an investment account that he had set up for me. Okay. So I knew that I needed to pay it off and not spend a lot of money on it and be careful with the usage. So I had the basics really down as far as that goes. But when I really got interested in money and finances was really around university, because I had been doing summer jobs, I'd been saving up, sort of getting my own money, and I decided I was going to pay for university, all by myself, try not to go into a bunch of debt, do it both on scholarships and income from my summer jobs and whatnot. And I quickly realized, being a techie and guy who was interested in tech, there were things I wanted to buy, like memory cards for my camera, digital cameras, all these things, printers and so on. And I quickly realized how expensive everything was, and on top of that, just normal everyday expenses.
Especially back then. Like, how long ago was this? Like,
this was like 2002, 2001.
Yeah, right.
And
so things were expensive.
Things were expensive. Like the 32 megabyte memory card was like $150 at Staples or $200, right?
Yeah.
So now you can get like 2 gigs for like $1 or something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's pretty low now. So growing up here in Canada, we're not taught to haggle. We're not taught to negotiate.
True.
When I went into the store, I thought the price was the price, and whatever it says on the shelf, that's what you pay, and that's how buying and selling worked.
Yeah. So
and
the polite version.
The polite version, the Canadian way. So, but then I started, having this money crunch. I started looking at flyers. I started, going from store to store and seeing, hey, the same exact model and brand of memory card is being sold like $50 cheaper at this store when it's on sale, or maybe just all the time, right?
Yeah,
sometimes the regular prices are different too.
Yeah.
So like that piqued my interest, and I'm like, oh, well, the price isn't always the same. So I started doing searches online to see, is anybody posting about these sales and stuff. I discovered forums like Red Flag Deals, and there was a lot of them back then actually.
Right.
Red Flag Deals wasn't the only game in town, and so I started discovering things like price matching and other ways to get the price further even down, mail-in rebates, and there were many situations where I would actually walk out of a store having earned money making a purchase.
Right.
So I would take, I'd go to the Staples and I would match Future Shop, which was a thing back then.
Yeah.
So memory cards like $150 regular, $75 at on sale at Future Shop. Staples had a 150% price match guarantee back at that time, so you would save half of that $75 again. So you take $75 minus $37.
Yeah.
Maybe it also had a $50 mail-in rebate on top of it. So once all that's said and done, I was at $30 I paid at the cash, and then I got $50 back in the mail later. Made money, right? So it's
those
hard.
do exist. It's crazy.
It's not so easy nowadays,
no,
but you can definitely still stack things together to make a good deal like that.
Okay, cool.
So that's really where the interest came from, but the thing was I was reading through all these pages and pages of forums just to find these gold nuggets of information.
Right.
And I was like, is anybody writing this in a way that a normal person, consolidating and providing it in a way that a person who's busy might actually have a chance to read it and understand some of it?
Yeah.
And nobody was, so I thought I would do it.
Okay, so you almost built it for yourself, meaning like I would use this.
Yeah, I would use this.
Okay.
And I think, somebody who's interested in saving money but is busy, has a family, maybe they would too.
So we're talking about, the distance between you figuring out there was a problem to you registering your blog. We're talking about a good 5 to 6 years.
Yeah, I mean, I probably started thinking about it even before I registered the domain in 2007.
Totally.
So, but at the time I thought I was busy. I had my day job, girlfriend and all that, and and I was like, and I need to be prepared. I'm very detailed and prepared kind of guy. So I had built up content. I started doing research about how to do the publishing and how to even make a little bit of money from it. I was researching all these things.
Okay.
And really, I should have just started, but
Hey,
live and learn.
Live and learn. Okay, how has paying attention to your finances paid off for you so far?
I think it's really paid off in so many ways, like more than I even appreciate. Like, for example, on our first mortgage, we were able to pay it off in 5 years, almost on the dot. It was a semi-detached house, and we live in a cheaper real estate area, as you know.
Still.
But, I was able to get that paid off in 5 years by doubling up my payments, by increasing my monthly payments and doing that every year, and then saving enough money, which I'd have extra money left over because I wasn't spending it on things that I was saving money on.
Right, so that's spending as much.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have extra left over that I could apply to my mortgage. So that helped us, get into the house that we're in today, which is, a really nice house, and we have a mortgage again today, and we're focusing more on investing right now.
Yeah.
But now we have more money to invest. It got me investing earlier. I started thinking about DIY investing back in 2008, right when the big stock market crash happened, and I didn't get burned too bad by that, but I learned all my lessons. It was a great time to start because crazy things were happening, and I learned those lessons, and now we have, you know, a solid investment
the floor
portfolio.
was literally pulled from underneath everybody.
Right.
So, yeah.
But then you realize that can happen, and then you start to think how comfortable I am with this big risk, and what do I need to do to manage my risk.
Right.
So that's a big payoff. In terms of like rewards points and credit cards, I learned that game too around the same time. And you know, we've traveled all over the world for almost nothing. Like, for example, the trip I love to reference most is the one I saved up and went on with and when I saved up, I mean points, with my wife to Paris. We went, we took a 10-day trip to Paris. The flights were all paid by points, and 5 days of the hotel, a 4-star hotel in the heart of Paris, was paid by points. And then I booked the other 5 nights on Priceline, I think, at a pretty reasonable rate. So all in, you know, on those 5 nights at the hotel and the flights, I think we paid like $100 in taxes and fees, right? So we're landed in Paris, no cost to get there, and then we can just spend on restaurants and experiences and have fun. You're not like, how can I save money on this attraction ticket? You know, so it's just like I can spend money on that stuff because I got there for free almost.
It's no longer a $4,000 trip.
Right.
Yeah. Cool.
So I mean, I could keep going on and on, but those are the kinds of things.
Like a lot of very important things, and I think a lot of the stuff that I'm hearing is you're in the habit of paying attention, and that just kind of it overflows into one. So you kind of focus on one thing, and then you learn how to pay attention, and then you get to the rewards and the benefits, and then that bucket kind of fills up, and then that attention and those habits overflow into other things, and then you know it's really a waterfall effect into your overall financial situation being healthier and more enjoyable.
Yeah, and I mean at first I was really like over the top with it, and you know just trying to pick up, you know what's the saying? You step over dollars to pick up pennies.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some of that, right?
Yeah.
But as you get older and you learn, you know, you learn to focus on the higher value things that pay off more. Yeah. And you know, if you have to spend a few pennies sometimes, you know, no worries, right? Or miss a few pennies, you know, it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Bargain on your car is more than you bargain on your soap.
Exactly. Right.
Do you live life by your own rules? I guess we kind of stepped on that earlier, but...
Yeah, so that's a good question. Oh, and one thing I wanted to say about, you know, how has it paid off? Like, I've been able to start my own business, and if I didn't have a solid financial cushion and understanding, I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Because
so
you live your life off of your website pretty much and your investments and other projects.
Yeah, it's our full-time work.
You and your wife.
And my wife.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it wasn't easy. I mean, we put in so many hours. So you asked me, do I live life by my own rules? And the answer is sometimes.
I expected that.
Right now, because I'm a business owner, and you don't understand what it's like to be a business owner until you do it, especially like trying to do a national business and get the enough attention to actually make money in this game, because it's mostly an advertising game and it's really hard to make money in advertising. For me now, time is what is valuable, not money so much. I mean, I don't have infinite money, of course, but I only have those 8 hours every day, and what I need is 88 hours every day. So I have to sometimes spend money for convenience, so I have that time, so I can use that time to, you know, leverage that in my business. Yeah. And so that's probably why most of all I don't live by my own rules sometimes. Because I have to make a trade-off for time.
And it's not I think you bring up an important point. It's not because you won't want to, it's because you're making that trade-off consciously, and it's really hard. Yeah. Because when I'm spending money sometimes when I know I don't need to, I'm like, oh man, that really eats me. But then you're like family time, you know, whatever.
You have to balance priorities.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool, love it. All right, so here we're gonna go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So how can people save more money?
So I think what you said about paying attention is really important. So a little bit of planning goes a long way. Right. Whenever you're thinking about making any purchase or any decision, you should at least put a bare minimum of planning into it. Like, you know, if you're going to go out and buy that car, you know, some people put more thought into buying a car than they do into buying a house. Yeah. Right? You know, so you just make sure the amount of planning you put in is appropriate with the size of the purchase you're making. The price, right? Yeah. So think about the price, think about how much money you can save, think about how often you're paying a price. So like recurring bills are something you should really focus down on and say, okay, what's coming out of my account every month? Is there any way I can save money on those things?
Yeah.
And those recurring bills, because they're mostly services and service in nature, especially like your phone and your internet, that kind of thing, those things are really, there's an opportunity to negotiate there.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they aren't really fixed price goods. They don't have a whole lot of cost behind other than their employees, behind the service. So you can actually call them up and negotiate. You can show them a competitor offer and say, look, they're offering me this. Can you do something for me? And most of the time they will be able to. I
renegotiate with Rogers pretty much every single year. And I say, client retention. Transfer me to client retention.
Client retentions, yeah. The retentions department, Whoever's in charge of keeping me as a client, that's who I want to speak to.
That's right.
And they have a lot more power to negotiate the bill.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. And just making sure you have the right products, like choosing the right credit card with Credit Card Genius. Like if you're going to have a credit card, which everybody needs one, almost always, you might as well have the best one.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a bank account, don't just go to the one that's most convenient. I mean, sure, you have convenience factors into it, but there's no fee banks out there.
Yeah, and they're online.
And they're online, and you can do it through your phone. You can do it from the comfort of your couch. You can deposit checks these days with a snap of a picture.
Yeah.
Why are you paying $15 a month for a bank fee for a checking account? You don't need to do that. So really, it just comes down to examining what is going on in your life and finding ways to optimize it and planning your purchases, and then it extends more even to what you do and like financial planning. Look at your investment fees, for example. That's a big thing that people just aren't aware about, because the advisors, they show you your mutual funds and they're like, okay, it looks like it's going up, and you're going to make so much money and whatever, but what they're not doing is comparing it to a benchmark, and sometimes they are, but you have to compare to a benchmark and be like, okay, with this specific type of investment, how would it perform without the fees? And how much of those fees am I paying? And how much does that add up to?
And what am I getting for the fees?
And am I getting anything for the fees? Right? Does my advisor even call me? Or did I just have one initial meeting and then I get nothing, and they're making thousands a year.
Yeah, which in the branch channel tends to happen quite often. Yeah.
Right. So consider other options, like getting a fee-only advisor who's going to not just sell you products with high fees, or look at robo-advisors who have lower fees and give you sort of really light advice and give you sort of diversify your risk. There's all kinds of options out there today, especially with technology. And I know your own thing, OnVisor. I mean, it's a great way to
pay as you go.
Pay as you go and have those meetings, get a little bit of advice as you need it, and it's a perfect fit for those who don't have big portfolios and can't really work with an investment advisor who requires like a lot of assets.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That minimum barrier to entry.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. What are the most common money mistakes people make unknowingly?
Unknowingly. So, I mean,
I know I threw that one right at the end.
I think credit cards comes to my mind. Like the thing that is the most common mistake is that people just don't pay off that bill every month, or they just pay their minimum payment. And it's really common for people to just let that sort of slide out of control. And number one, you need to make sure you're making that minimum payment every month, and every bill that you get, you need to make sure that you pay that on time. Otherwise, it's going to seriously damage your credit score. Yeah. And if you damage your credit score, then you're not going to be able to get that car loan. You're not going to be able to get that mortgage. And so make sure you're making your minimum payments every month on all your bills. And if you're not, make sure you call the lender and see if you can make a special arrangement for them not to report that to the credit bureau. So that's one thing. What are the money mistakes? I mean, not planning enough. That's just the opposite of what I said earlier. Like people just go through life. They think the price is the price. They just pull out their wallet, spend on anything without thinking. Yeah. Not even having a loose budget. Like
no buffer. No cushion.
Right, and not even understanding where their money goes.
Yeah, I've been meeting a lot of people lately, and they it's the typical like the pain is not the problem issue, same as physical or whatever issues. It's the problem is typically 90+% of the time is not paying attention. Yeah. Like we're talking about paying your bills. Well, we all pay our bills, or we all think we pay our bills, right? But a lot of people are doing the magical shuffle, paying off the credit card with the line of credit and saying, I'll pay the line of credit at some time, and then it's just a temporary shuffle, and then you realize you've accumulated $20,000, $30,000 of debt over a few years and saying, how did that happen?
Yeah.
Well, it's because you didn't pay attention to where every single dollar went. The number one thing I think people can do to pay attention, to reinforce what you said, is you have to once in your life go through the exercise of paying attention to where every single dollar went the previous month.
For a few months at
For
least.
a few months. I say do an average of 3 months.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
3 months of Visa and debit card, and that'll expose.
And track your cash, write it down, because that slips away.
Highlighter, grab a highlighter, and every single line has to go into some kind of spreadsheet. And if you need that spreadsheet, I have it for you. Email me and I'll send you my template that I use.
We also offer
a
budgeting template that you can download right off
our
homepage too.
How to Save Money?
Off the How to Save Money.
Cool. So another one.
So
there
both
too.
places there if you need that.
Cool.
And I think another thing that actually probably even more unknowingly is people don't pay attention to the sales and marketing machine that's out there. The whole world is geared towards separating you from your money.
Yeah,
consumerism. And the thing is that when you see a sale, you think you're saving money, and it's not necessarily true that you're not. In some cases, you are, but just because you see a sale doesn't mean it's a good deal.
Yeah.
A lot of times, sales are just engineered. Like the regular price isn't the regular price. The regular price solely exists so that they can mark it down on sale and make it look like you're getting a deal.
So you buy more.
Yeah. Right? So the sale price is the regular price. The regular price is the price that's there that nobody pays. Or it's there that the people who just don't care will pay, because, why not? So they might as well have a super high price that the people who just don't care will pay because they'll make extra money there, and then they put it on sale for the rest of us, and that's really the regular price.
Another, to come back to the other question, to how to save money, waste. We talked about buying more because it's on sale. Waste is one of the, when I looked at my grocery bill, when I did my budget last year, I do one every New Year just because it's time off and I reset and I want to do a good financially the next year.
Right.
Eliminating waste from my fridge was saved me a good $200, if not $400 a month.
Yeah.
Because I don't waste food and I don't let it accumulate. Don't let sauces and extra stuff accumulate in my fridge because we buy weekly and we eat and purge everything weekly. And if we end up going to the restaurant once or twice and we freeze the meat that didn't go cooked, but waste. Just pure waste.
And this is a struggle in our house. I mean, because we're so busy, it can get out of control. But you're right. I mean, there's so much food that just goes in the garbage, and planning better. Planning better. Your meal planning and whatever, and paying attention. And putting it in the freezer before it goes bad. I mean, it's
expiry dates. Even groceries, saving money. I always go grocery shopping on Sundays, and there's often 50% off. Like they're going to expire, so you cook it or freeze it that day. But 50% off meat,
right?
You can save $50 a week.
Yeah,
doing that.
You ask your local grocer or your meat vendor. I mean, different departments can be different days, but say what days does this stuff get marked down at what time? And if you can be there, then you're going to save a lot of money.
Yeah. All right. Last question. What kind of impact can saving money have on people's lives? So what kind of benefits can they see immediately and down the road, I guess?
I mean, I think it's freedom really is what it is. It's freedom to do what you want, to not feel the pressure of always being behind and always having not enough money and squeaking by paycheck to paycheck. And if you look at it kind of as a bit of a hobby, you can get a rush out of it from saving money, to be honest. It can be a rush, it can be your hobby, and it's a very lucrative hobby. Right? So, if you were trying to do woodworking, for example, and then maybe sell your woodworking on the side, and there's a whole lot of work and whatever, and you might only make a few pennies, but if you make your hobby saving money, you're going to be able to optimize your life, and you're just going to see, wow, look how much money is left in the bank account. And I always recommend paying yourself first too, right? If you can save, put some money aside of emergency funds, savings, and investing up front, I mean, then you'll be further ahead of the game. But it'll be a lot easier to continually increase those savings amounts. Because there'll be more money. Start.
I think you're on the right track. You're mentioning really golden information here. We were talking about pay attention. And once you pay attention, then you get to save. And once you save, then you can pay yourself and pay whatever debt you might have accumulated. And then you're looking for efficiency. So the last step is efficiency, which is typically where I would come in. Obviously, I can, a good advisor can step in and help you achieve all those milestones. But efficiency, good successful advisors typically want to come in for efficiency at the end once you've already accumulated. But fee-only advisors, or the reason I created OnVisor is so that I can help in every step of the way, whether you have investable assets, are interested in life insurance, the typical commission-generating things that I used to earn money on. OnVisor is aimed to help you at every step of the way, and I just want to get compensated for my time for helping you do what you need, which is, I think, is a fair exchange.
Of course, it's fair. I mean, I think it's so. The culture today that teaches people that everything is free is so bogus. Like, nothing is free. I mean, somebody's making money off of you somehow. Right? Even if you don't pay anything out of your pocket, they're finding a way to make money off of you.
Perfect example is, I could go see you for a budget and pay for it, or I can go to my bank who's going to do it for free. Well, they're not doing it for free. They're charging you, $200 a year for your checking account, and they're taking your savings and lending them for car loans. And everything has a spread or a fee they're charging you somewhere, and I agree. Yeah,
it's so bogus. It's not bogus, but the fact that the banks charge you monthly fees to hold your money, which they resell anyway and make huge profits off on it, and then they tack on the monthly fee on top. I mean, it's just, it's interesting. And my partner and wife, Maria, she has a very interesting thing that she likes to say, and I'm blowing a blank on it, but if you, I'm going to say it wrong, but if there's no product to buy, or if there's no price to the product, then you are the product.
Right. Your attention.
Or your name, or you're being on a list that's getting resold. Your information.
Yeah.
If there's no product that you're paying for, then you are the product.
Data is a big thing nowadays.
Right.
Data.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all I had for questions. I really appreciate you taking the time. And I highly encourage all you guys to go check out HowToSaveMoney.ca. Sign up for his newsletter. I know I have, and it's been, I've really gotten some good insights and some good reading done from it. Check out Credit Card Genius as well. I'm going to get more familiar with that as well, especially if I'm in the market for do they do business cards or just personal?
We're going to be going into business cards probably in 2018, but we decided to focus on personal to start with.
Do one thing, do it right.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. So thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Marcel.
And until next time, guys. Cheers.
See you later.